Welcome to the show, folks. It's I Quit My Band. My name is Nate.
I'm JJ.
Evan is...
MIA.
What the hell?
Yikes.
What's the deal with you guys?
We're beefing. Him and I have beef.
Yeah, you guys can't be in the same room together.
No, except for when Ty Segall comes
After
to
those
town.
2 Ty Segall reviews, he was just like, yeah, I can't anymore. I can't keep listening to this.
He's like,
guy.
I need a white guy yelling at me through a microphone over dissonant guitars right now.
I need a little bit of, whatever Evan listens to.
McCluskey.
Brendan Abernathy. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. Comment down below. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our Patreon page. $5 a month to become a quitter. There's bonus content on there. There's going to be a review of Ty Segall's classic album, Melted, on the channel. So if you're a Ty Segall fan, go check that out. He has a new album coming out this week that we also reviewed called Possession. So a big week of psych rock. And we're kind of continuing that genre on the show with the Season of the Chad, with another album that we're going to be reviewing today called
Trash Classic.
Trash Classic by Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
Yeah. Frankie, I would consider... I've seen them once.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Like the top tier modern within the past decade, like psych rock outfits, maybe even 20 years, is like Osees, Gizzard, Ty, maybe a few others that I'm forgetting. Wand,
yeah.
Things like that, right? I always considered, and this isn't like a diss, but I always just considered them like just south of that level. You know what I'm saying?
I'd probably have to agree with you there. I mean, they're a band that I discovered like a really long time ago, like on just like an Apple Music playlist or something like that. Yeah. And I always thought they were cool, but as I started getting into more of their music, I was like, well, this is just kind of like an Osees kind of rip-off, copycat band, and that's fine, you know. But they have been gaining more traction and more like respect in the psych rock genre, and people who like psych rock are really big Frankie and the Witch Fingers heads.
As Osees, who it's hard to not draw comparisons between Frankie and the Osees. Just to address the elephant in the room, they're very similar at times.
Yeah.
However, as Osees goes into a more like mega punk weird route with some of their like probably like 2 or 3 latest releases, something like that, Frankie has continued straight and narrow, baby. You know, giving us the jangly guitars, the weird vocal, the krautrock vibe. You know,
I'd have to agree. I mean, I don't know what album they're on here. Maybe their 4th or 5th album.
That sounds right.
They've come out with quite a few. There was one. The last one I remember checking out was there was one called like Data Doom. The other one is called like Monsters Eating People, Eating Monsters, Eating People. Is like continuous or whatever.
Data Doom was the one right before this one.
Yeah. And I listen to those records. Always found good things about those records as a psych rock fan. I'm always like, these guys are great. They're talented. They write catchy songs. They write like really exhilarating psych rock. But like it was always the biggest takeaway for me was like, now I just want to listen to the Osees because they sound so much like them. And then going online and then like watching videos of them live performances. The singer is, he's wearing the SG about this high
up here.
Has the John Dwyer haircut.
Has the John Dwyer's jawline.
Yeah, he also somehow looks like him. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Short shorts.
Yeah, the short shorts. Yeah, it's like, it's just so the same vibe. And like, we've talked about copycat bands so much on the show before, and it was always just such a huge mental block for that band. I was just like, I don't know if I can like get past the fact that this just makes me want to listen to the Osees, because I love the Osees.
Me too.
And I'm sure Frankie and the Witch Fingers has other influences, but it just always was like this Greta Van Fleet thing where it's like,
yes,
we get it.
Yeah, in the like era of Osees that they most remind me of are like is like my favorite Osees.
Yeah,
shit.
the best era.
Like Orc.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
Yeah, like
right?
the newer era.
Yeah, not like quite like the hardcore like ultra psych, whatever they were before they kind of got popularity, which the Osees have been around for like a really long time. In some way, shape, or form, with one of 10 variations of their name. And they've put out so many albums. So, like, you know, the first 10 years of their career is almost like they were just playing in dirt parking lots for, you know, whatever. So, well-deserved success to both bands that we're talking about. But, yeah, Frankie really has latched on to the, you know, riffy, synthy era of Osees, the hooky part that, you know, I really loved. And you're right, though. There is a part of it that I just listened to it. I'm like, all right, fuck. I just want to listen to Mutilator Defeated at Last.
Yeah,
you know?
It just makes you think, like, oh, wow, like, Floating Coffin was a cool record.
Yeah.
Like, after you hear, like, a really good song by them, you're like, I should revisit the Osees. Because of how much I've been reminded of them for the past 20 minutes.
You know, and yeah, exactly. But and I felt that way during Trash Classic a lot. But that's not to say that everything that Frankie has ever done has made me feel that way, because they brought out this album called Zam.
Oh, yeah, Zam.
Like,
yeah, that was another one. Yeah.
That was their fucking breakthrough, I think.
Really enjoyed that one. Yeah, there was a lot of cool songs on it.
Amazing. That really felt like a statement of its own to me. To kind of like a proof point that Frankie as a band could do something that isn't, I mean, I don't want to
completely contrived,
derivative, whatever, right? That was kind of it. And so that's what kind of allowed me to invest in their stock a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm still yet to invest fully in the stock, but I don't know. This album might
change
my mind a little bit. I've listened to it a couple times.
Me too.
But we're here. It's I Quit My Band. You know what we do? We listen to the whole damn thing.
The whole fucking thing.
And we talk about it pretty much straight through.
We talk over all the songs.
It's not really a reaction. It's like a half reaction, a half listening party.
If you want to listen to the album, listen to it.
It's like being in a dorm room where someone puts it on and then you just talk over it. Yeah.
It's like the movie commentary on the DVD extras.
Exactly.
You don't get to watch the movie.
No.
You just hear the geniuses talk about the movie.
You hear the people that made it. Yeah.
Which is us.
That's us. All right, well, what do you say, Jage?
Let's rip it.
It's Trash Classic, Frankie and the Witch Fingers, and it's I Quit My Band. Let's give it a go. This is the first track called Channel Rot.
Really just an intro.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to this whole thing.
It's kind of cool, though.
It is cool. It kind of sets up the vibe for this record really nicely, because it's like...
glitchy.
It's a glitchy type of thing, and it's like a lot of TV static and weirdo stuff like that, and like... You can hear all these like TV shows playing in the background.
How many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Does that pop up?
What?
The licks to the Tootsie Pop.
What do you mean? Does it pop?
Does it pop up in that?
Yeah, it does.
It does? Okay,
it's like faintly in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like these like staccato hits that come in, I think are really sick.
Yeah.
And I can imagine them like opening a set with this or something, which would be pretty hype. And it kind of got me excited for whatever this would lead into. I don't know. It's a cool way to start your record.
Yeah, I didn't mind this. I mean, the only critique I really had of it was that I thought it was gonna like lead in to the other songs.
Me too.
But it kind of just ends on its own. Like it's an interlude track that like stands on its own, but it would have been so much cooler if it went into that second song.
I know, like a song that was a vibe like that, like something kind of dark or something.
This is really the first track. This is called TV Baby.
Yeah, I think this was a single.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. There was a lot of singles for this record.
Yeah, Economy was one of them. This one, I think. Very garage.
Yeah. First impressions listening to this song was I like this a lot better when the Osees did it the first 80 times they did it. I was like
to a T.
Yeah, I was like, okay, the guitar and the bass are mixed exactly like how Dwyer and Tim Hellman sound on every Osees record, like post Mutilator.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like I'm so over this.
Like the neck pickup on the guitar,
Yeah.
jangly as fuck, going into like thick moments.
Yeah.
Which that's what I like about. I do like this song.
Oh, I think this song's cool. Yeah, I mean, they do have their own flavor by going like more heavy, sludgy rock than the Osees do.
Yes, but like if the Osees are like a Granny Smith, this is just a green apple.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they're all apples.
Yeah, they're all apples. They're all. Cut
I
from-
love apples.
They're all from the same garden.
Same garden, different tree.
Different tree, different flavors.
How many more analogies could we come up with?
I don't know. We could keep going. But yeah, I mean, I like this one on the record for me, honestly, is the most contrived from like the most derivative of the Osees. Like, it's not just the way that the guitar sounds, it's the way it's being played, it's the riff, it's his vocal, it's the way that they're like the drums mixing as well, and the way like it's probably more energetic and exhilarating and like, you know, a rock just rolling down the hill more than anything that the Osees have done in the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
But
completely.
It still is like, okay, this is basically the dream, you know.
The production's great.
Production is great.
Maybe stronger than some of the Osees stuff.
100%.
But yeah, it puts me in a position because I do like this. I loved that halftime moment that happened there. That was fucking sick. But I'm all like, it just feels so familiar.
So familiar. A little bit too familiar.
And it's like, do I like this because it's familiar, or do I dislike it because it's familiar?
Do I like this band because of how much they're reminding me of one of my favorite bands ever?
Yeah.
Or do I just actually like what they're doing here?
Yeah.
It's hard to decipher.
It's a dilemma.
It is a little bit of a dilemma. Let's move on. This is Dead Silence.
This one really gave me King Gizzard vibes.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, like, King Giz is another band that has, you know, in a lot of ways ripped off the Osees. You could argue. I think they've even kind of admitted to that. It's a little bit more goofier, this song. It's a little bit more cartoonish. But yeah, I mean, the Osees have done songs that sound exactly like this before, and that riff is a little bit more like stew.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of jagged.
Yeah.
And like you could see them doing like a silly music video, and maybe these vocals aren't quite like what any of the Gizzard dudes would do, but all the vocals on like the entire album are kind of the same mode the whole time.
It's very much Dwyer inspired. It's not like not quite as ghoulish as Dwyer.
No, he doesn't like
He never goes into like goblin mode,
full goblin ghoul mode.
But he does do the you know, it's like Fred Schneider of the B-52s a bit, but like also Devo.
Yes,
you know?
I was gonna say there's a song later in the track list that's very Devo to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of Devo vibes on this.
Quite a few of these songs I could see some sort of like Devo-esque orchestrated like group movement on stage.
Yeah, a little bit of
Saint Vincent. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I like this one a lot. Like the whole Osees thing. It's there. It's distracting. It's kind of a little bit, you know, it's derivative a bit, but second song in, you kind of realize that Frankie is. Like, their shit sounds so much more thick and full than anything the Osees have done, which is like, I never thought of the Osees as really like a raw, stripped-back band, but the way the mixing is on this, it just sounds like so much more like... like full and put together.
And, you know, a thing that really is the Osees' bread and butter, the two drummers thing, could at times be their detriment because Frankie has one drummer. There's only one dude that you have to fit into the mix.
You don't have to pan.
You don't have to fuck with everything.
One kit and the right and left.
However they do it. But yeah, so you know the drums sound really good on this album. They've had quite a few different drummers in their band, I believe, maybe like 2 or 3. The one I recognize right now because he's like a lefty, I think, and he's in that. I think he's in that band Primitive Ring that we've talked about before.
Okay.
So he's like an LA psych rock guy.
He knows what's up.
But he's shredding on this album. I would say of the instrumentals, the drums stick out the most to me on this album.
Yeah, I went back and listened a bit to other Osees records that this record reminds me of. The Osees record that this reminds me of the most is one of their more recent ones, actually. Intercepted Message, because that's where they like really started featuring the synth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like those records have so much more of a raw lo-fi vibe, like homemade vibe than this does. Like this feels very professional and like huge.
Which like I could see some people from like the scene of this being like, dude, fuck that.
Yeah.
It sounds too good.
It ain't lo-fi.
No, I want it to sound like a fucking shitty Walkman.
Yeah, I want that Orange County sound. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Let's move on.
I do like that song though. That was a good one.
I like it too.
This one might be. This is Fuck's Sake,
Fuck's
right?
Sake, yeah.
I like this one maybe the most.
I thought this was a nice kind of quirky switch up. Like, it doesn't really remind me of anything that the Osees have done. I keep going back to the Osees, but
We gotta stop saying the Osees.
it's just so distracting.
I know.
Like, it's just like it is kind of like navigating a Greta Van Fleet record and not talking about Led Zeppelin.
I know.
It's a bit like that.
Singer, I think his name is Dylan.
Okay.
Dylan something. He is a bit more of a singer than Dwyer is.
I would agree.
He actually aims for notes when he sings, as opposed to just
Yeah.
you know. And this one's a good example. It's like a little bit of a hummable melody.
I really like the refrain on it.
Yeah.
Fuck sake. Like,
Yeah.
I like just, the word economy of fuck's sake. And
Yes.
making that one word. That's kind of fun.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of cool shifts. I mean, the thing that they're doing really well is going from, like, these jammy riffs to these bigger, sludgier, thicker chords.
Yeah.
And, like, really, like, putting a lot of muscle behind what they're doing.
Yeah, in that like high pitch, I don't know
Yeah.
what that is, but it might be just him pitch shifted up, or it might be
Maybe.
a female. I don't
I think
know.
they have a female bassist.
Nikki Pickle.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
That's a great name. Nikki Pickle.
I used to, or currently plays in Death Valley Girls.
Oh, okay. Good band.
She's responsible for all their. They have really sick merch.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
don't know much
she like tie dyes shit and designs posters and stuff.
Death Valley Girls is a good band.
Yeah, but anyways, I like this one. It's just it's different enough. You know what
Yeah, it
I'm
just
saying?
feels like they know how to layer their shit really
Mhm.
well and like really put just so much power and ass behind everything they're doing. Like there's just like you can listen to this record and these songs over and over again, and I feel like you'd find another synth pattern or guitar
Mhm.
underneath all of it that's like doing its completely different thing than everything else. And you're like, oh, where the fuck did that come from?
I find myself craving more of the sludgy sections.
Yes, I like the sludgy section.
I mean, obviously that's kind of like you've got to be sparing about it, because
Yeah.
then you're just a doom band if you do
Sure.
that,
Yeah.
and you're not what they are. But I really feel like that's the shit I like the most
Yeah.
across the board. And when they do that on this album, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
You know?
Their guitars, when they do those like thick power chords, the tone is like very lush. Reminds me a little bit of like Ty Segall, Emotional Mugger
Mhm.
era. That kind of like wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a cool song. Let's move on to the next one. This is Economy.
Definitely one of the singles.
One of the singles, one of the coolest songs on the record.
Yeah.
If not one of the coolest psych rock songs I've heard in a very long time.
This is the one that reminded me a lot of Devo.
Yeah, this is very Devo. Yeah, there's another one even further down that reminds me of Devo too.
Yeah, and it's like the most robotic,
It's very robotic, yeah.
which is cool.
It has these like kind of farting synth noises where it's like,
Yeah.
I like how that sounds.
Hey, can you dial up the
Can
for
we
me?
get some fart sounds in this? Sure.
Yeah, that $30,000 synthesizer patch that you got. Can you just make it sound like
Yeah, like there's like these squirts, you know.
like a wet one?
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, mud ass.
There's
Can you dial up the
Can
mud
you
ass
give me
tone?
some more mud ass on there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like. See, I've said it on the show so many times. I used to be a huge psych rock fan.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I listened to, and then I kind of fell off because of, bands starting to kind of just do the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
This is so not lazy.
Yeah.
And, that's, the one thing, I really have to give them credit for, like when I would go into a new Osees record, I always pray it would sound like this, and it never really does.
Yeah.
This has,
this part too.
Yeah. The chorus is great. The instrumentation is great. The mixing is great. And it's just a weird sounding alien droid song.
There's a little bit of craft work going on too. And just a general, over this whole album compared to their other stuff too, a krautrocky-ness to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All these bands are kind of informed by those bands.
Krautrock
and stuff. Yeah, exactly. But this one is very unique and very evocative, I would say. I can see what the performance or the music video would look like for this.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Just in a spaceship, 2001 Space Odyssey type of shit.
Everything, the aesthetic they've chosen for this album too. Everything's black white with lime green.
Yeah. It's like 2000 era, Y2K type of shit.
Very
cool.
bold.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like that a lot too. But what was I gonna say? God damn it! A little bit of Tron.
A little bit of Tron Legacy.
Movie. Tron Legacy. Tron the original.
The original. Yeah.
Tron all together.
Just neon shit all together.
If the Tron movies were soundtracked by this and not Daft Punk all the time, actually, it is going to be Nine Inch Nails. For the new Tron movie.
Damn. That's pretty cool.
It would be cool if it was this, because it would be such a 70s throwback.
I don't think I knew about the Nine Inch Nails doing the new Tron thing.
I'm pumped about it.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Here's the next one, Eggs Laid Brain.
Yeah, I have a tough time telling this one apart from Dead Silence.
Yeah, this one is where you start to realize that they're kind of riffed out a bit.
They are riffed out.
They have kind of one type of riff that they're gonna go with, and it's gonna kind of do the same thing every time. But I didn't hate this. It was still fun.
There's a sludgy chorus again.
Yeah,
they hit some sour notes that are cool.
Yeah,
and that's at the end of the day. I'm not a smart guy. You can keep it simple and make my monkey brain happy.
I'm not a smart man.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Forrest Gump stuff.
I know what love is.
I know what psych rock sounds like.
I know what the Osees sound like.
Todd Siegel is my boyfriend.
I know what they do. And they're doing it.
What a weird worlds colliding we just created.
I wouldn't think Forrest Gump
if Forrest Gump was an indie rock head. Jenny.
Yeah, he's just sitting on the bench.
What was the guy's name that we were making fun of?
Brendan Abernathy.
Have you heard the new Brendan Abernathy?
Have you seen that TikTok?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if it just Forrest Gump sitting on a bench with instead of chocolates, it's a stack of vinyl. I got this last night at the Ty Siegel show.
He signed it. I told him I was his biggest fan.
He invited me up on stage. If that's what he was famous for.
There's just footage of him. I was on stage. Dave Grohl invited me on stage.
Grohl, and then I played with Dave Grohl.
I got his guitar.
They fired Josh Freese, and then they hired me as the drummer.
I like that a lot.
Good.
We could run with that for a long time.
That's great.
That could be a skit.
Forrest Gump. Indie rock Forrest
I
Gump.
ever tell you about the time I saw Depeche Mode.
I played with Depeche Mode.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, let's keep going. Eggs Laid Brain, yeah.
This one's straight formula.
It's straight formula. Kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit. After a really great, weird song like Economy, you kind of lose this one when you think about the record. You're like, it's not one of my favorites.
It's a 45-minute long record.
Yeah.
Which is a lot for a band like this that kind of throws like 3 pitches.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, I
know?
thought most of these songs would be like 2.5 minutes. They're mostly like almost 5.
And there's like an 8-minute long
Yeah.
one at the end.
Which you wouldn't even know. It kind of goes by kind of quickly.
I have comments about that too, but yeah, this one, Out of the Flesh.
Out of the Flesh.
Yeah.
This, I think, is my favorite song on the record. I really got jacked up listening to this one in the car.
It's unique, I would say.
It just has like such a fun and memorable chorus and very like radio rock kind of melody. Like, that's another thing. Like, they know how to mix like really great psych rock with like fun melodies, like stuff you would hear on the radio almost. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised hearing this on the radio, but I would be surprised hearing like a King Gizzard song on the radio.
Yeah. The coolest moments in some of these songs, there's like 1 or 2 after this that do this, like, and that's kind of a radio feature in a song, is cutting out the rest of the instruments.
Yeah. Yeah, they really know how to build out.
And using space.
Yeah,
you know?
But I just love it. Kind of takes a while to get there. I didn't really realize that until my 4th or 5th listen. But the chorus that comes, it takes a while for the chorus to get there. But when it does, it's just huge.
Yeah.
And then here it is.
They really,
Like
it's like a punky thing too.
That call and response. Like, that's so fucking good.
It is cool.
Yeah.
I find myself during the progression of this album wishing that stuff was a bit more guitar driven as opposed to synth driven. You know, like,
didn't think about
just wanting some of these riffs to be played by a guitar, but this one isn't like that to me.
Yeah, I didn't even really think about that. Like, I mean, I think there's a lot of good guitar in this record, but yeah, I mean, I guess if you break it down, the guitar is kind of more of a supporting instrument in the
It
back
is.
for
Like,
the synth to kind of do whatever it wants.
the guitar isn't really playing any lead lines on this thing almost anywhere.
It's mostly doing those like jazz chords, those like Dwyer jazz, like the.
The one thing they don't copy off of them is they don't do the thing that every psych rock band does where they slide their finger up the fretboard with the delay pedal on. They don't do that.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because now I can kind of rest easier. You know what I mean?
They don't do that
They
fucking
don't
delay
do
pedal
that
thing.
Like, they might be a copy of the Osees, but at least they don't do that.
And they don't go, oh!
Yeah, they don't have any weird O's or woos. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't do that.
That I'm glad you pointed that out.
Just
Because
here
if they
to-
did do that, it might be like unforgivable.
It would be egregious.
Yeah, it might be like, what are you guys doing?
Like, it's
Yeah.
not the level of egregious as Josh Kiska going, Mama!
Well, that's a whole.
That's
other,
egregious.
Yeah, that is egregious.
That's a way different level.
Yeah, when you start to steal like quirks,
Yeah.
like that's like even Stu from King Giz stole some stuff from Dwyer with that, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess, I mean, they really don't stoop to that level.
No.
Interesting. Let's move on. This is Total Reset.
Fast
Reminds
one.
me of Eggs Laid Brain.
Yeah.
It could be Eggs Laid
Giving
Brain.
me some eggs laid brain.
Giving me a little bit of Eggs Laid Brain vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the vocals on this one. It's that kind of makes it stand out to me
I have to
because he's
remember.
singing a melody on this one.
Oh, yeah.
It's like dun the zeitgeist.
He does have, he does do that a lot where like he kind of introduces the melody by like screaming, and then like the last back half of it is like that's the hook.
Notes. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Dum, 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 dum. Like that's what you're gonna remember. Yeah, I mean it's just fucking classic psych rock.
These songs have to be fun to play.
I mean they're fun to listen to just because it sounds like, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog going through a maze.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you're
Yeah.
fucking all over the place. Pac-Man, you know, at like 150
Wada 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 wada
speed.
wada. Yeah, exactly.
You know, songs like these though, like they do feel like, you know, a dime a dozen. Like we all know that they can do it. They're not really bringing in any new ideas on this one. It's just another fast-paced, anxiety.
This is where their
ripping-
sludge factor comes in, though, and that makes this
Yeah.
part cool. Or
A little bit, yeah.
you know, but at this point we're like 7 tracks in.
Yeah.
I am having a tougher time distinguishing them. Like if you switch up the order, it'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they are.
Yeah. If you left this song out of the track list, I probably wouldn't notice.
If I didn't have notes written down
Right.
about it, I
Yeah.
would have been.
Like, oh yeah, there's
yeah. Okay.
Oh, I forgot.
Total
about that.
Reset.
Total
Cool.
Reset, of course.
Yeah,
Of course, Total Reset.
can't forget that one.
Can't forget that one. Is there anything else happening in the song that's
Nah.
interesting? Let's move on. This is Conducting Experiments. This is another one of my favorites because
Yeah.
it is like it's the first time on the record where they do something like very noticeably different from beginning to end. Reminds me more of the Talking Heads in Devo.
Good call.
Like it has like and a little bit of like Brainiac in there too.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
good pulls
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I mean those. You know, I should have read the press that we got on this, but like, I'm sure that those 2 of those bands are what they might. You know, they're not gonna be like, yeah, we like the Osees.
The Osees and the Osees. I mean, come on, guys.
But I could see like Talking Heads through a lot of this now that you say it.
Yeah.
You know, like a heavier Talking Heads.
Especially this song, you can like picture David Byrne like doing the hip swivel to this
Yeah.
with the big suit
With the
on.
giant suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I don't know, I really love that. Like these
Yeah.
2 women on
Yeah, I like that too. There's
It's a
a
good
point
melody.
where the guitars come out again, and it's just drums and
Yeah.
vocal,
Yeah.
which is a really cool moment. It comes like a few minutes down the line, but not a lot of bands think to cut out the instruments.
Yeah.
You know, because often their vocalist or their vocals aren't good enough to carry it,
Yeah.
or creative enough to carry
Yeah.
it by itself.
Yeah.
But this is a good one. It's a standout to me.
I like how
There we go.
yeah, this is a really cool moment. Yeah. Oh man. That's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, there's these moments on this record where like you're just listening to a song and you're just like, fuck, this rocks.
Yeah, it's fun.
Everything about this is great.
I
Yeah.
spend most of my time bitching about psych rock, but it's like at the end of the day, an average psych rock band album is still fun as fuck.
It's if it's done right, it's always really fun, and sometimes when it's done really well, it's like hell yeah.
It changes your life.
Yeah, it changes your life.
It changes how you view things.
Changes how you think about yourself. But yeah, I don't know. I like how this sounds like almost like orchestral. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds like there's like horns in the background. Like them. Like it's just so funky.
It's like a chorus of synths.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, and not actual horns. But I wouldn't put it past him to put some horns in this record.
If not now,
Yeah.
then when?
Why
you know?
not?
Why not?
Let's move on. This
Gutter
is
Priestess?
Gutter Priestess.
I like this one,
Yeah, this one's not bad. This is the
but it's also a song.
Dangerous. Is that,
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
is that the one?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. It's also the second to last song.
Second to last
Suffers
song.
from that.
It suffers from that. This one, Eggs Laid Brain and Total Reset, kind of live in the same area in my head, where they're all kind of doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Not much of an intro. You just go straight into a
Yeah.
verse. It's a little bit sticky, but not sticky enough.
I like the chorus. I like the dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like kind of a surf rock vibe to it.
We haven't really talked much about the lyrics or whatever, and I gotta
Yeah.
credit them, even though this is gonna sound like a diss. They don't stick out to me as being fucking terrible, like a lot of these bands that
Yeah.
are just singing about wizards and goblins.
Yeah, I mean, I think this album probably does have a theme to it with lyrics, and it's probably a lot about technology, you know, kind of ruining society, as most
Yeah.
albums are these days. But when it's in a psych rock album, psych rock to me is like always mostly about the instrumentation and the jamming and, like, rather than it is listening to lyrics. Like, you can kind of make the lyrics any sort of weirdo vibe, and like if it sits fine over top of all the craziness you're doing, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't really listen to lyrics much, and in fact, Evan is usually the lyric breakdown
Evan's
guy.
mostly the lyric
He's a
guy.
literary
Yeah.
guy. He's read like 35 books this year or something.
Just this year.
But still, when they're bad, I can hear that, and that sucks. And these aren't bad, so there you go.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it does kind of stick out. You always know a bad lyric.
Oh yeah.
You always hear something about like a phone, and you're like, what?
Oh
Yeah.
or yeah, exactly. Saying something like a really shitty analogy that doesn't quite work.
Yeah, it always is noticeable.
This music doesn't need analogies.
No, this music is about jamming, and
this music is for polite mosh pits.
yeah, it's for just not really moshing, but just violent headbanging
and pushing each other
a little bit. And you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my god,
your shirt smells like someone else's BO.
Yeah, you got horrible whiplash the next day.
Remember the time that me and Bobcat Ron went and saw King Giz in Philly?
Oh my god, yeah.
The most violent mosh pit I've ever been in my life.
It started immediately too, and it was hot in there.
We lost each other completely for the whole show.
Yeah.
I only brought because we were only going for like that show, crash, and then go back.
Yeah.
I brought like one shirt.
Yeah. I brought one. I didn't bring a change of clothes.
It was foul.
Yeah.
What my shirt smelled like, and I thought it was ruined.
Yeah. No, I did not bring a change of clothes.
Other people's BO permeated all of my clothing down to the underwear.
I was completely soaked, and I remember the merch. The only chance to get another shirt was to buy one at the merch table.
Oh, yeah.
And my brother had to buy it for me because he had cash on him, and they didn't accept cards.
And that's why this music's so sick, dude.
Reminds me of that.
Reminds me of
a
smelling
whole
like another
band that it wasn't them.
Yeah, it reminds me of smelling like other guys' BO.
It is BO guy music.
Yeah, it's Harry BO guy music.
Let's move on. This is the last song, Trash Classic.
I see the runtime and I get intimidated, but TBH, this was one of the more enjoyable listens I had on the album because this part's the same, but then the latter like 5 minutes until they go back to the main motif are like such a breath of fresh air because it's like a weird spacey psych rock jam.
Yeah,
I've never heard them. Well, not never, but on this album they have never come close.
I was kind of I was waiting for it to happen the whole time.
Me too.
Because you do need a breather. The whole taking in this much fast-paced punky psych rock, you're like, when am I gonna get the I'm on acid interlude? Yes. And I don't know if it happens like full-fledged on this. I mean, it's still pretty noisy when they go into the instrumental section. It's still pretty loud and chaotic, but it was like it was a cooler thing they did on this record after kind of giving you like 9 trailblazers,
Yeah, I mean, to their credit, this album is relentless.
It is relentless. Yeah, that's a good word for it.
It just doesn't stop. Yeah. They take no tracks off, which is cool. Yeah. But in the psych genre, you're not boxed into shit like how you are with stoner rock, where you just have to have riffs all the time. Yeah. You are awarded the flexibility, if you have the ability to do it, to take these like chill reprieves. The Osees do it. Ty does it. King Giz does lots of stuff. Yeah. That's what these guys didn't really do it until this point.
I'm kind of used to with psych rock is like having, the spacey interlude or the jam, like the mid-tempo jam in the middle of the record.
You and I have talked about it quite many times, like the classic Osees formula of like, this album's cool, there's like 3 songs I really like on it. Yeah. And then there's like 2 10-minute songs that I'll listen to once and then never again.
Skip over. But you always like that they're there. Yeah. You're like, okay, at least they did something like so like head scratchingly weird.
Not every bite of a sandwich can have all the ingredients on it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some that are just bread and lettuce.
And sometimes it's just fun to, just like listen to an album in full, and then like halfway through you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Is that
right
a
now?
Squeaker toy on this song?
Yeah, exactly. Here's where it starts kind of, it kind of gets spacey. But there's still building you up the
That's
whole
true.
time.
There's still a tempo to this.
Yeah, there's still a tempo, and it's still fast,
Yeah.
I want to try to skip ahead a bit.
Fucking SoundCloud. There you go.
Yeah. Kind of gets a little prehistoric there.
Yeah. It gets a little Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
We're cutting the wires.
Yeah.
Like, which one should we cut?
Or Tron. Another Tron reference.
Yeah, well, I've made 2 food references. You've made 2 sci-fi movie references.
And they were both the same movie.
Would you consider Tron sci-fi?
Tron's definitely sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go into the CAs? What do you think?
Yeah, let's just have it play.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I had a difficult time with this record in that I kind of had to get over my own like preconceived notions of Frankie and the Witchfingers first.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know this band is kind of I'm trying to get into them before, and them just kind of reminding me too much of the Osees to really form like an actual opinion on them. And that's like my biggest hurdle was just like, I can't really form an opinion on a band if they just sound so much like another band. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, it's good, but I already have this.
Yeah.
So my first listen, that's what I thought the whole time. And then as I kept listening, I was just like, well, it has more like punch and attitude than an Osees record does, where Osees are kind of hell-bent right now and probably for their whole career on like being as weird as possible.
Yeah.
Where like these guys are actually giving you like just rock songs.
The goods.
Like they're like every single time punching you in the face, punching you in the gut.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm not really used to with psych rock, and I like it a lot. I like when psych rock gives that to me. Is it a little bit samey at times? Yes. Like, does it kind of, do you kind of lose interest in a couple songs? Yes. But the songs that aren't samey are so fun, and like they're just bangers. And I had that's what I like about psych rock. It's always just supposed to be fun, and this album was fun all the way through. Even if there was kind of lulls or ones that don't stick out that much, it was still like, wow, these guys are really talented, and they're not quite original yet. I don't think they're quite there in their lane of like being that big name in psych rock quite yet. They still have too much of an Osees influence for me to like really form a full opinion on them. Like it's there, it's distracting, but there was enough of them and their own, input on this for me to go like, wow, I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to give it probably the same score I gave the Tie record, 7.6.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my feelings echo yours pretty closely. Being a person that I would say I won't say I've fallen out of love with psych rock in 2025 completely. Like, there are bands that I like. You and I have talked about this offline, but like I really like Slift. But
Slift is
they bring like a darker element to this stuff.
Yeah.
That a lot of bands don't, which is why for some reason they stick out to me. And what I like most about Trash Classic is when things go dark.
Yeah.
Which is few and far between. I kind of said that earlier, is like the sludgy, nasty moments, or like what this opening track that's playing right now alludes to. We never really get there. We just get the like fun romp and party vibe from a lot of this stuff, which is cool. But like you said, I have a tough time separating this from when I know that there's an album that I could put on that just has a little bit extra sauce.
Yeah.
But where these guys win for me is the production, is the size of their mixing and whatever, because they're not just going for a straight dirtbag. That sounds negative. Straight like scuzzy, punky, who gives a fuck aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right. So they win some points with me for that. They lose points in being as derivative as psych rock in 2025 can be. But nonetheless, they're like, this is a banger fest. There's pretty much 9.5 straight songs until you get a reprieve of any kind.
Yeah.
You could put this on as a casual fan of psych rock or whatever you want to call it, and find no fault in it. And surface level, I don't. It's just like there's too much same going on for me to really rank it higher than it didn't move my needle past, like, you know, a certain point, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing bad about this.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of with you. I'm feeling like maybe a 7.3 on this, which would probably put us in the middle.
7.45.
You know, Evan's not
That's-
here, so I
yeah.
feel like one of us has to come up with what kind of hell yeah it is, and I had one. and
I
now
had
it's
one
gone.
earlier today. I think it's a non-John Dwyer approved hell yeah.
That's good.
It's
yeah.
not. We don't know if he's aware of this. It's happening.
Yeah.
But we approve of it. John Dwyer might not.
He might not.
He might
it
not
might be
approve it.
swagger jacking.
He might think it's complete swagger jackage.
Which it kind of is.
It kind of is.
I mean, look at the guy.
I mean, the guy's
Look at the
he's
fucking
doing
guy.
the thing.
That guy looks more like John Dwyer than John Dwyer right now looks.
It looks like John Dwyer put himself in a time machine, and then like that John Dwyer from 20 years ago was able to climb through and exist today. He's like, well, if you're still doing the Osees, I'm just gonna do the Osees with another name.
Yeah.
And
Is
then
that cool?
Yeah. He's like, all right.
All right, fine.
I guess if you're gonna exist,
Yeah.
you know,
So it's a 7.4.
7.4,
A non John Dwyer approved hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That seems right.
Yeah, you brought up a good point too. I didn't even think about it. That like, with psych rock, there is like that scuzziness that almost can be like probably called maybe a little bit of laziness in a way.
Yes.
Like that slacker rock vibe where everything has to be lo-fi, and you kind of are never gonna get like a really great sounding psych rock record from like one of your favorite bands. Like even King Gizzard, like their records sound good, like, but to a point. Like you listen to other things and you're like, how is this so much more polished up, you know?
I encounter that with even my own music that I'm currently making, because like my band is like very much in a psych adjacent mode, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I don't want my drums to sound like shit.
Right, exactly.
You
Like
know?
it's just something you don't think about until you like, because I don't have any problem with lo-fi music. I love lo-fi music, but like when you hear a really well mixed and put together psych rock album like this, you're like, okay, damn, it can sound like this. I didn't even really know that they did that.
Quite honestly, like I'm moved more by like when I can feel and hear the full frequency of the bass.
Yeah.
In my chest or
Exactly.
whatever, you know.
When it's not like, you know, just plugged in and whatever goes.
It's not just
goes.
tin can
It's
level.
not exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about Frankie. I there's some songs on this album that I'm excited to put on a playlist and hear day to day. You know, it kind of got me a little bit reinvigorated in the psych rock genre.
This plus the Thai album, two strong showings from the world of psych rock.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
although Thai's like veering further and further away from psych these days.
Thai's really not even psych anymore.
No.
But, yeah, I'm excited to see what King Giz cooks up with their orchestral record, and let's see if the Osees put out one. And
They're gonna
go
put
on a
out
tour.
something.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yep.
put out something. It's just
August
like
is coming up.
August is coming up. They may have not announced it yet, but they will.
They got to meet the quota, baby.
They have to meet the
it's
quota.
The album cover is gonna be some kind of skull. It's gonna be some sort of D&D reference.
I love that.
There's going to be
love that.
7 variants.
Every time I see that skull, I'm like, oh yeah. We're gonna get this.
I'm gonna listen to this
thing
once.
as last year. I'm gonna listen to it once, and I'm gonna look forward to it all year.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's all right.
That's how it goes,
That's how it
baby.
goes.
Yeah.
What did you think of the record, folks? Did you like this Frankie and the Witch Fingers record? Did you think it was too much of a copycat to the Osees? Do you hate that? Do you not even like the Osees?
Do you resent us that we mentioned the Osees as many times?
Yeah,
as we did?
was that not the right move?
Was that uncool?
Was that uncool? I think it was fine because I think if you're
Look at the fucking guy.
look, just listen to this album. I mean, it's right in the album. Or did you love it? Did you like this record more than we did? Do you think it's the best psych record of the year? Do you think it's better than the Osees? Do you think it's better than anything that's come out in the past 5 years? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to that Patreon page where you can find bonus content. The most recent thing is a new review of Ty Segall's album Melted, 15 years old this year. Go check it out. Go check out all of our other reviews on the channel. Have some fun. Be a Chad. Join the club. Thank you very much. It's I Quit My Band. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.